Good morning. It might not be morning. So this is a recording in place of Sunday, the 12th of April, because I won't be here now. So yeah, it is essentially a Sunday class, although people might do it any time. Oh, it's got that annoying light streaky thing. That should go when I tip it. So if we tend to do things a little bit towards the end on Sunday, if you don't know, that last sort of 10-ish minutes tends to be something a bit more relaxing, a little bit more stretchy or whatever. So if you're coming across this and you are not normally a Sunday person, that might be a bonus, is all I'm saying. Right, come on, let's make a start. All right, so obviously, I can see myself really big on the screen, it's weird. And so we're going to make a start with set up, zip up, centering, all the basics. So feet hip distance apart, toes forward, nice little gentle knee bend, pelvis level to the front. So we're keeping the chest lifted and the chin lifted to help us stand tall. We'll do our shoulder stabilization. So up, back, squeeze it down, hold your orange to your chest with your chin. Keep standing lovely and tall. Engage the pelvic floor because we're going to start to zip up. So under here, give it a squeeze, pull it into the center of the body. Keep some focus on that. It can be tricky. And then we think about our pretend tie outfit with the zip. We're going to pull the zip up. So pelvic floor, and then run that contraction right up to the top. Squeeze it all in, 100% as hard as you can to lock it in. All the way up, all the way around. Really try and engage that through. Don't let go. Relax it down about halfway and a bit more to our 30%. And then keeping your lovely posture and your engaged core, close your eyes, because just for a moment, we're going to try and get that nice and centered position, the symmetry in the body, the weight distribution being even. So first of all, of course, we don't want more body weight coming through one foot than the other. And then we don't want more body weight rolling to either the inner or outer edges of the feet. And then lastly, not more sat into the heels or pushed forward into the balls of the feet and the toes. Okay, if you open your eyes, we will do warm-up, prep, stretch and mobility to continue. And we will start, of course, with your little ankle rolls. So keep the core engaged to help you balance. Extend your arms as well if that helps. And change it back the other way. And just nice and relaxed, just a small movement, bring it back down and change sides. So it's a tiny little joint, the ankle joint, but just loosening it off a fraction and then back the other way. It's not one we do much with really, is it? Let's be honest. Bring it down. We're going to come up onto your toes. Again, use your arms, focus on the point in front of you if that helps. And we're going to come down. And then as you can see, trying to keep your knees pointing forward, but when we're all the way down, we're going to go heels in, knees out, push your knees wide. So we've got some adductor stretching. All right. So not too strong to start with. And then knees and toes come back to the front. And then, of course, we're going to come into your standing forward fold. Relax it down and get that stretching in that back. Legs too, if you want to lengthen out the knees. Take a nice big breath in and stay all relaxed into that as you gradually roll yourself up and stabilize your shoulders and bring your head up last. And we are back into neutral. Keep your tummy zipped up. And we are going to, I might sneeze, we're going to just come into that mid-spine rotation, okay? Very, very gentle. Keep going. Oh, sneeze immortalized. Okay, so keep going. Relaxing your arms, right? Just very, very softly into the center. So we'll do your oblique stretch, or you can put this other hand wherever you want, and just take that over, push the side of your body out to try and feel the stretch all the way through here. And all up the side of the rib cage, bring it back and change sides. So exactly the same thing again. It's also quite a long area that we're stretching into. We're getting that little bit of lateral flexion in your spine. And then upper back stretch. So bring it forward, palms face you, fingers on your fingers, chin on your chest. And really push that out and away. Big, broad upper back, open shoulder blades. maybe even feeling that all the way into the back of the neck if it's tight. And then for the chest and the fronts of the shoulders, you can extend your arms back as you push your chest forward. Remember not to overarch here. Or you can pop your hands in your lower back and squeeze your elbows in, so that what we're doing is just, as you know, opening into the chest and to the fronts of the shoulders, the muscles that get a little bit tight and pull us forward when we have that bad posture and we're trying to keep nice and upright. Okay, relax that down. Little shoulder, little wrist roll. So check you are standing tall. Lock that posture in, back the other way. Tummy is engaged all the way through, and the weight is centered in the feet. Shoulder roll up and back, and really release it down, and then rotate your head around. So biggest movement that you can, just getting a tiny little bit of a stretch in the opposite side of the neck. Back into the center. Bring your chin down, rest it on your chest. Lift, take it back the other way into the center, and we will continue, of course, with your roll down. All right, so engaging the tummy all the way through. Remember to stay relaxed in the upper body. Lateral thoracic breathing, move very slowly. So big breath in at the top, fill out the rib cage, get lots of breath in so we have lots of breath to work with. And you know that as we come down, we're going to start to feel that we're rounding the whole back. And as we come down, we just release the upper body, all that lovely flexion there in the lower back. Enjoy the stretch in the lower back. Remember, you can lengthen out the knees too, to bring it into the legs and the glutes more. Get your stretch whilst you take your big breath in. And then as you exhale, we re-engage that tummy. If you let that drop, if you took your knee bend out, you put it back in, and we very gently start to roll up to the top. Stabilize your shoulders, so everything back in place. Checking all of that whilst you take your big breath in, and we just keep it moving. So curling the spine at the top, so really get as much flexion through your spine as you can. But once you come a part of the way down, of course, you're kind of letting the upper body go, so that flexion comes out of it. But we're just taking the time to roll and stretch out that upper body when we first start to move down. And then as we're coming back up again to the top, we've kind of put the lower, then the mid back into place. And then rolling the upper back, stabilizing the shoulders, bringing the head up. So it's repeating on the way up in reverse order what we did on the way down. So really trying to get as much flexion through that as possible. So we're opening out all those little vertebrae. We're really working on stretching and mobility of the lower of the back, but especially, isn't it, into that lower back. We're getting some good tight stretching there. And yeah, and the legs too if you want, but you don't have to. And moving slowly with the tummy engaged. So we're spending lots of time in both directions, really opening it, really focusing on each vertebrae. If we do it quick, we don't get quite so much of that. But also we want to do this nice and slowly and steadily with the core engaged, to make sure, so keep going for me, to make sure that we have got safety for the back. We're looking after it. All right, so once we have done a few of these rolls, as you know, hopefully it has started to ease us into the session. We are getting that stretching, we're feeling that ease away, we're getting the bigger range of movements, and it's preparing your body and your mind now. And obviously it has that cumulative effect, doesn't it, over time, where you all do this very regularly, 1, 2, 3, or even 4 times a week. So what we can find is that over time that is building the benefit, and you've all got really good ranges of movement. Now, next time you are back in your standing forward fold, I want you to just hold that there for me. As usual, wherever you are in there is no rush. You may have even only just started to come back up. So you've got all the way up and all the way back down to do. But once we are in your standing forward fold, remember to keep just releasing into that. You should find that you're closer to the floor than you were when we did your first repetition. And then we need to do that just because we can, and we're working on your stretching and your range of movement, but to make sure that you still have a good strength of stretch. Because if you just kept the same range of movement all the time, you wouldn't be getting a strong stretch by the end. So obviously, if you have a very good range of movement, we have to really try and drop into that. But let that just hang in there now. This one last time, getting that good stretch in the back. And then in whichever way you prefer to do so, bring yourself onto the floor, and we are going to pick your favorite little stretch. So that could be cat stretch, child's pose stretch, cat cow, nose in your belly button, whatever you like. Remember, obviously, when we do your child's pose, you can put in any arm position that you like. Everyone has favorites. All right. Okay, so we're going to get your tummy switched on. All right. Very important, as we all know. And we are going to do the double leg stretch today. Okay, now, you all know the double leg stretch is quite tricky. So we have to think about keeping the movement controlled and slow. Then you can alter your range of movement, and you can alter the level that you're working at. So let's come in now. Remember, you can curl up if you want to, but you don't have to. And you can take curl up out at any time if it starts to pull into your head, neck and shoulders. So level one, with your tummy engaged, relax your upper body comfortably. You're going to bring your leg in. Now, I'm sure you all remember this. So if you normally work at a different level, whatever level you work at, please do start. We're going to come out. And then as we bring it down, really slow, make sure this other knee doesn't drop out. It needs to point to the ceiling, and you come as low as you can, but you need to be able to stay in neutral. Take a big breath in, and then as you exhale with your tummy very, very engaged, we're going to bring it back up to the ceiling, put the bend in the knee, and bring it to the floor. Hip distance gap, keep changing legs. Level two, of course, is your simple double leg stretch. So we're just going to hold that here. All right, lovely even breathing, curled up if you want to. Obviously, if the hamstrings are tight, you'll get a knee bend, but just as straight as you can. And then lastly, of course, we're going to bring in this leg drop again, but the other leg is elevated. Now, this is the one where you have to really think about your alignment, come as low as you can, breath in, and you have to watch because your speed will really increase as you bring it up to the top. All right, we take the breath in at the top again, and obviously this works your tummy quite hard, so you know that the premise for this and similar exercises is when you take the leg weight away from the floor, the TVA is working, deep core is working to help support that weight from the floor. It's like a resistance exercise using a free weight. Body weight exercise is really, really effective, and good for bone density too when we're doing things like planking. So yeah, you just have to watch this. Now, obviously, when you've got both legs off the floor, it's harder than one leg. And then obviously when you're in your simple double leg stretch, you haven't got this pull out of neutral because you're not doing any leg drops. But when you do the leg drop, it tries to pull you out of neutral. And it makes the body weight harder to sustain for the core. All right, so just bear that in mind. Really tight tummy. Now, if you're doing a movement level, finish that. And then we're just going to hold in the simple double leg stretch for a moment. If this gets a bit strong, you can introduce knee bend. You can even come down to 100 level 2, which is a little bit less intense, especially if you've got really tight hamstrings. But we're just going to hold this here, legs as straight as you can. Keep breathing. Again, you can be curled up if you want to. And we're just going to hold that there. So try not to let you, obviously we're using your quads because we've got your legs raised. Try not to let them dominate. Really, really have a lovely engaged tummy. Relaxed upper body as much as you can. Really concentrate on that pelvic floor. Pull it all up. Just a few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll bring your legs in and give them a nice hug and just release into it. So some good tummy work to switch that on to start with. Okay, let's do our back extension now. And today we're going to do the rear deltoid squeeze. So we're thinking about this upper body posture, as well, of course, as looking into the strength work in your back. Obviously, with some of these, I can only apologise for the fact that I can't always do them the whole time with you, which is so, oh, it's raining. Oh, how grim. Which has sort of been putting me off some of these videos in a way, because I've been thinking, oh, I can't do the stuff, but I think I'm just going to have to work with what I can do for you moving forward. You're all very kind and you put up with my various aspects of the fact that I'm a falling to bits disaster. Okay, so back extension, of course, means we are lying on our tummy, right? I have to take my glasses off for these because I don't. Lots of you wear your glasses all the way through, and I don't know how you do it, because when I'm lying on my tummy, it really annoys me. I'll see what I can do, because if you cannot do it, there's no reason why I can't. All right, so we're coming onto your tummy. All right, relaxing your lower body down, as I'm sure you remember. And we're going to come down and pop your arms by your sides. So zip that tummy all the way through, pelvic floor right up. Kind of feel your tummy pull away from the floor. Nice big breath in, and then as we exhale, we raise the upper body and raise the arms and turn them so the palms face one another and the thumbs point towards the floor. Now try and keep your neck in line, so it's really tempting to look up and forward because it makes us feel like we've lifted more, and obviously we try and get big ranges of movement. Okay, but think about holding your orange to your chest chin a little bit and just hold it there. So everything will drop. So we have to keep thinking about engaging the tummy, lifting the body, lifting the arms, really putting the shoulders away from the arms and squeezing the upper arms in. All right, so we'll come out of that just for a moment. Okay, so we do these long repetitions. So it's quite tiring because the muscles are holding in that position, holding. And so we are keeping the work on really well. So obviously, if at any point you need a little break, you can come out and then come back in again as soon as you can. But we have these little rests in between the reps to help. However, we are going to come in again. All right, so legs relaxed, tummy all zipped up, lovely big breath in. As we exhale, raise the upper body, then raise the arms, palms face, thumbs point down. Try and keep the wrists nice and soft. Everything gets a bit tense, but try and release them. All right, and we're going to keep you breathing. So it's lateral thoracic breathing. When there's no movement, we just think about pacing, breathing evenly. So inhale and exhale breaths, lasting the same amount of time. Quite slow if we can. Upper body raises from the floor. That's what engages into your lower back. All right, keeping that weight lifted from the floor, the erectile spinae muscle. So there's your back extension element, working on the strength around the lumbar curve, which is quite delicate, as I'm sure you remember. Okay, rest it back down again. So in a few moments, however long a moment is, we will come in and do the last repetition. Obviously more tired near the end. Just do as much as you can, however much that is. But just relax down, nice and comfortable. All right, so one last time through. Relax the lower body. Zip that tummy right away from the floor. Big breath in. Lift the upper body, lift the arms, turn them. Okay, so when we lift the upper body, as we said, the lower back comes into play. A little bit of trapezius as well, lifting the whole upper back. But on the upper body, obviously, that working down of the shoulders comes into your medial deltoid, so across the top of the shoulder, where it can get a little bit in the wrong place when we do the slouchy shoulders. All right, opens up the fronts of the shoulders, opens up the chest, so you might feel that a little bit. So again, those are the muscles that get short and tight, pull us forward when they need opening out, and then squeezing under those shoulder blades, the rear deltoids, the muscles that get long and weak with the slouching, and also a little bit of tricep with that arm squeezing in. So there's all the places you'll probably feel this. And then relax it down. We're going to have the moment we have on the floor after our back extensions, just to let the body absorb that in. So although obviously we use that primarily to work into the lower back, quite often where we feel it most is around the shoulders, the upper back, you know. So we'll make sure we give all those things a little bit of a stretch. All right, bit of gentle flexion then after that extension. So we're going to come up and you can pick whatever option you'd like. So of course we have the cat stretch, we can hold that. Or we can move between the cat and the cow positions. Or we can do toes together, fingers apart, and reach forward. But then you can also bring your arms back into a different position. And we could also do the C-shaped spine curl if we wanted to. It's another option for that. So let's rest that poor upper body out a little bit. All right, and do some tummy work. We're going to do the no oomph roll up, because the last time we did the roll up, and I know this doesn't apply to everybody, but we did the extension to the front one. All right, so with this one, we start with our lovely tall posture, knees bent, pointing up to the ceiling, hip distance gap here, and we raise the arms, we have relaxed down the shoulders. I'm sure you remember what options that you normally work with, so start with those, but just for me to run through it. So really engaging your tummy, lovely big breath in, and as you come back, we tip that in, so we get lots of flexion in that spine. Now, you'll come to a point perhaps where you can't come any further, so you stop. This might be working and quivering. You take a breath in, check your knees haven't dropped out. And then as you exhale, keep some flexion here and come back up to the top. So we get a bit more flexion in this back after that extension. If you can, we're going to roll you all of the way to the floor. Now, remember, as you do this, you get this extension through your knees. If you need to put a bit more of a bend in whilst you're here, or as you're going to bring yourself back up to the top, you can. I have, of course, misplaced myself to try and do this arm extensions over the top. Just keep your arms as straight as you can, and don't worry if you can't get your arms all the way to the floor. So because we have these extensions, it's going to try and pull you out of neutral, so you need to keep it locked in. Big breath in at your furthest point. As you exhale, you bring your arms over, and then of course you stabilize your shoulders, and we peel away from the floor really gently, still flexing lots until we get back up to the top. Big breath in, keep repeating. If we can, so whether we're coming all the way to the floor or not, if we lift the legs, it brings more work in. Like when we did our double leg stretch and we talk about lift the leg weight, engage the core. Take it over. Now, you can keep your legs quite bent, the work is softer, although as you come up, your legs will naturally extend through the knees and hips. But if you want to, we can keep the lovely straight legs or anywhere in between. All right, and come back up to the top. So really engaging the tummy. Again, it needs to be smooth and controlled. Now, your next repetition, so you can still keep your spine straight, you either start from here again and come back from here, or you can put your feet back on the floor as you start to come into that movement, and then lift it away. Okay, so work with what you can. And then, like anything, you know, we've got options with our range of movement. We've got options with our leg lift. With our leg lift as well, we've got options of how straight we make the legs, and then whether or not you put your feet down or not, when you get to the top of that repetition. Yeah, watch what's happening with your legs, because you might be in position here at the top, and then when you come up to the top, you'll probably reset. It's that psychological thing whilst you're taking that breath in. But as we start to come back, it could be that your knees come in, but it's more likely they'll drop wider. So we're looking for your knees and your feet to be hip distance apart. As we're going back, we're getting all this flexion in the spine, we're making the movement through the shoulders, we're thinking about our neutral spine. And whether we've got the legs on the floor or not, we're using the body, whatever range of movement we've got, to try and be really controlled as you bring yourself away from the floor. So that control on the way up is the tricky part. So whatever set of options you're using, we're going to come back up to the top. So finish your repetition where you come in and you sit lovely and tall. Bear with me. And then we're going to do a little bit of a stretch. So we did that quite strong back extension because there wasn't a huge range of movement. We were holding with your rear deltoid squeeze. And then we did some gentle flexion. And then we're obviously working into the flexion there with that, but I want to do a stronger back extension. So we're going to go with cross legs, but as always, if that doesn't work for you, pick something different. Engage your tummy, nice big breath in, and we come in slowly, so that we don't put the back at any risk by accidentally coming too far. And we are looking at lower back and glute. And depending on your leg position, you might feel some stretching in your leg somewhere too. And we just hold that here for a few seconds, and then we'll see if we can develop the stretch. Take a breath in. As you exhale, just trying to come in a little bit more if you can. Don't worry if not. Just holding it here. Make sure you're breathing all the time. Zip tuck tummy if we can. All right, because we've got the seated position, we've got the flexion, our hips and knees and ankles aren't in line, so if we can. And then roll it back up to the top. So if you're working with crossed legs, you swap it over. And if not, you choose a different seated position to the one you were using the first time, or you can keep it as it was. So lovely big breath in, core engaged, move forward really slowly and steadily. All right, and just extend your arms to where you can. Relax into that. And again, glute and lower back, whichever is tighter will depend for you on which is tighter generally. And maybe elsewhere in the legs, depending on how you're sitting. And just relax into it as much as you can. All right, let's see if we can develop the stretch. So nice big breath in, and as you exhale, just coming in a tiny bit more if you can. And of course, big muscle groups, tight muscle groups can be uncomfortable. Don't make it awful. Just a good firm stretch, even if that's uncomfortable. And roll yourself all of the way back up to the top. Whilst we're sitting up, we are going to do your seated leg lift. Oh, how awful. Now, can do this one, of course, sat with your back against the wall, but we're going to try and think about your shoulder blades and the back of your head being on the wall, as well as keeping your bum wedged right into the skirting. If you naturally have this little bit of a rounding forward, to get your head on the wall, you'll find that you tend to do this. So what I'd rather you did was look straight ahead, even if that means the back of your head isn't on the wall, but we've still got your bum wedged in and kind of like your shoulder blades in and the shoulders very close to the wall. Okay, that's more important at the moment. So, yeah, this is quite a strong exercise, as you know. You can rest your arms wherever you like. Some people like this. Some people even like this one as well, because you know that this makes us, that focuses us on this upright posture. All right, so I know some people like working with that because they can really feel that coming in. You can also put your hands on the floor, but remember where the seam is on the side of your top, that's where you need to be. If you're coming back, you're leaning back. All right, but do whatever works. So big breath in. And speaking of what's going to work, it's going to be your quads. So we're going to give that a little lift up, and then we're going to bring it down. And we're going to give it a little lift up, and we're going to bring it down. And what this does, as you know, is that as you create the leg lift, your body wants to do this, or it might even keep your spine quite straight, but it's going to want to do that because it allows you to make a bigger range of movement. All right, and it makes it a lot easier. And we know that your body, whether it's the best thing for it or not, isn't daft and wants things, especially uncomfortable things, to be easier. All right, so yeah, we just have to not let it do that, because although we feel obviously this really strong work in your legs, we're getting a bit of hip flex going on, and we're using all the muscles in your core and your back, not moving your spine is tricky. Not moving your back is tricky. Not letting your shoulders roll. Obviously, we're going to make sure that we're looking directly forwards because we don't want to be. I really need to sort these emojis out. And we want to make sure we're really keeping that lovely posture. So the movements aren't necessarily going to be huge. But yeah, we're using all through the core and the muscles in your back. So you might feel it in that upper back around here. Okay, you can stop now. Especially after we've done that rear deltoid squeeze. Just give it a little flex forward to get some hamstring in. Okay, hold that there for me. So that's going to give you back and glutes again. So that bit's already warmed in. So hamstrings are quite tight. We're just going to throw in some hamstring stretching there, because anything we do obviously with straight legs would be difficult on the hamstrings. And we're just going to bring that in, feel that there in the back, legs, the glutes. So we'll take a nice big breath in, and then as you exhale, if you can, just coming in again a little bit further, just trying to develop that stretch out slightly. Because that's quite a strong stretch, isn't it? All right, so not very nice for the legs. We're going to come in and do you a side lying quad stretch now, because obviously that is very strong. It pinches into your quads really, really quickly, doesn't it? So you all know with this one, we have the upper body. You can come down onto this arm if that's comfortable, or you can be up on the elbow if that makes you feel more steady. Taking hold of this top leg round the foot or whatever, or hold onto a sock or a trouser leg if that's easier to get hold of the foot. And we're just going to pull your foot in towards you. Okay. Yeah, sorry, just pull your foot in towards your bottom. So that will start to lengthen, obviously down here. You'll feel the stretching come in here, and then push forward from your hips. So don't push forward from your quads, push forward from your hip. Okay. And then hopefully we should get that good stretch, and we should maybe feel that into your hip flexors as well. So quad muscles are tight, hip flexors also very tight, and can be really problematic. And when we were doing those leg lifts, that came into your hip flexors as well. Keep the tension on that stretch just a little bit longer. All right, release that out. And then come in and do that same stretch for me on the other side. So exactly the same. All right, and keep that breathing when you do. I'm not going to do it on the side, I'm sorry, but you all know what to do. So yeah, so coming onto this side for support, and then just bringing the foot in towards your bottom as much as you can, and then pushing your hips forward. So as I said, make sure you push forward from your hip, not just pushing forward more with your leg, because that's what will really bring in the best hip flexors stretch. But either way, we're getting this really long, lovely line all the way in the front of the leg into the thigh, and just pushing that forward there. It is a little bit uncomfortable on the knees sometimes because we're compressing the knees a lot, but just really getting that in as much as we can. And holding it and breathing it just a few more seconds. Okay, relax it out nicely. All right, we are going to do a plank now. We're going to do a bent arm plank today. Just do as much as you can, as always. Probably won't be a particularly fantastic effort from my end. We also have the 3/4 plank, don't we? So that if it starts to get a little bit strong, we can come down onto the knees and do it that way. All right, so the upper body position, whatever we're doing with the legs, is to, of course, have the elbows underneath the shoulders. You can have your hands together or you can take them apart. It's completely up to you. We're going to engage your tummy, curl your toes under, and then bring ourselves into position and hold that there. Try not to let your head drop. So if you're looking at the mat underneath you, that's what's happened. All right. And also try not to let your hips drop or your bum stick back. We want the lovely long straight line from the ends of your fingers down to the tips of your toes. And we're going to hold that there, nice and steady. So your 3/4 is to be on your knees, upper body position still the same, trying to keep your shoulders. So my hair's obviously, I'm trying to look at you. Your shoulders are still above your elbows. With this one, you can find it's come back a bit like that. So we need to make sure it's still the straight line. So straight line shoulders to knees compared to straight line shoulders to ankles. Sorry, give me a second. And just hold that there. So make sure you're breathing. Use nice, even breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, like we do with the lateral thoracic breathing, but trying to keep it even. We don't have a movement pattern to fit the breath into. There's only rain on that window and not that one, so it's probably come down like sideways or something awful. Yeah, and just holding it there. So yeah, planks are strong because there's obviously a lot going on at the same time. We mentioned body weight exercise earlier being really good for working into bone density. And then what this is doing is that it's, as you can feel, working really strongly into your upper body, especially chest, shoulders, and a little bit of tricep. And then it's doing your lower back, your TVA, your rectus abdominis. So there is lots going on. Relax, relax, relax. Uncomfy. Stretch it out. A child's pose is a good favourite after a plank. But anything like just to make it feel like you're releasing that out a little tiny bit, because it's hard work. And obviously you've already done your rear deltoid squeeze as well. So the upper body has worked quite hard and very intensely into the shoulders. When we were doing your seated leg lift too, we were working all into that upper body, into that back. So it's worked quite hard today, that upper body, lots into your shoulders and your trapezius as well. So we might feel a little bit achy in the shoulders and or the upper back and or the triceps tomorrow. So we are going to do one more exercise, but we are towards the end of the session now. So this is going to be a nice mobility exercise, really, really simple. And then we're going to do some upper body stretching. So your really, really simple, lovely exercise is going to be arm openings. So it's going to open into your chest a little bit, roll the back out a little bit, mid-spine rotation, which is important because we haven't done any of that today. We've done flexion, we've done extension, but we haven't done any mid-spine. So we're going to come onto your side. Doesn't matter what side you start with. Right. And put a good stabilizing bend in your legs. Now, if you want to put something underneath your head, you can, but we want to make sure your head's relaxed. So try not to hold here all tense. Extending my arms out. So my arms kind of level-ish with my shoulder, palm to palm. If that doesn't reach, you're slipped back, you're slouched back here. All right, because if I was stood over you, I'd only want to be able to see your top leg. We're all stacked up here. And make sure that you haven't got an overarch in your back. You know, we want to talk about, so I'm really sticking my bum out now because you can't really see, but having your pelvis tipped in. All right, so nice big breath in, tummy super zipped up. And as you exhale, we're going to bring it over. So you know that we let your gaze follow your hand You rotate, and you can see I've twisted my upper body, and my gaze following my hand means my neck will rotate as well, and I've come over as far as I can, and then we bring it back. Don't worry if you can't get that other arm all the way to the floor, and you might not be able to start, but then it might come in. Back palm to palm. Again, make sure that your bum's not sticking out, you're all tucked in and you're zipped up. All right, and we just move lovely and slowly, taking it across. So you can see similar benefits to chalk circles. Obviously, your chalk circles works more into the mobility of the shoulder joint, and because it's got that sort of full rotation, and this is much simpler. But both give you some shoulder movement, both give you that movement around your trunk. And it's just, as you know, we do the different things because everything works. So mostly we would do the chalk circles, but everything works your body slightly differently. And that's important, because the more different things we do, even when we're targeting the same muscle groups, ligaments, tendons, flexion, extension, strength, works slightly differently, and that's what we're after. Okay, so every time we come out, we're rolling across, we're opening out the chest and the fronts of the shoulders, which, as you know, is always a bonus. And we're getting some movement through the shoulder, but we're getting lots of movement through the mid-spine, and that's mostly what we're after here. So next time you come back palm to palm, and of course don't rush, we're going to come onto the other side of the body and do exactly the same thing. Again, I'm not going to do that side because it hurts on my hip today. But yeah, same thing, legs all stacked up when you're in the base position. We haven't got your top hip dropped back. So as I say, when you're in that starting position, if you can't get this palm comfortably on top of the other one, the chances are your top hip is dropped back. So it's quite important to make sure we do have these palms touching. I love when kids do that crocodile thing. And yeah, so as we open out, keep it lovely and slow. So it's quite hard, isn't it, to keep the breath all the way through. It's quite a long time to get the exhale breath and the inhale breath, but you're all very good with that. So try and pace the movement so that you're taking the same amount of time to open the arms as you do to close them. So it's that nice even pace, and you can use your nice slow 5 count or something like that, or even a tiny bit longer, 6 or 7 if you want. And then you're also trying to make sure that you're pacing the breathing with that, because as I said, we exhale as we come into the movement, and then we inhale as we come back in. So we're getting this nice paced movement. Try to be very relaxed all into the upper body, because it's very easy when we're doing this to still hold a little bit of tension there, even if we're not meaning to. All right. And we do want your tummy zipped up as well, because again, it's another one where it can be very easy to find that we haven't engaged the tummy, because we've been quite enjoying it and we've been focusing on other things. So when you have next come back and you have finished your repetition, we're going to come onto your back just for a moment and do your little knee hug. Just that little release in, nice and comfortable. And then we have worked quite hard into that upper body today, so we do need to come in and stretch that out. So in whichever way you like, you can bring yourself up to sitting. Now for the upper back, we're going to do the one where we create the resistance between the hands and the feet. If you find this a bit tricky, you can just do it the normal way. So hold around the outside or the inside of the feet. And as we come forward, what we're imagining is that we're trying to push the feet away, but then pulling with your hands with equal force. All right, and then we're just going to bend in with the upper back. So chin to the chest, and it's tempting to kind of bend forward a bit more, a lot through the mid or even lower back. But we don't want to do that, because that's not going to target the area we want. As we're pushing away with the feet and pulling in, we can then push the upper back out, and it really opens it out. It can be quite strong. It can be stronger than the other one, which is why I wanted to use it today, because of all the work we've done with the upper back. But don't make it, as always, incredibly painful. So we're just pushing that upper back out. We have to actively do that to open that out and open out your shoulder blades. Just a few more seconds. Hold that there if you can. All right, release that away. Come forward this one last time for the lower back, the glutes, and maybe a little bit of adductor. We didn't really use the adductors today, and we haven't given them a stretch. But this isn't necessarily your strongest adductor stretch, but of course they're a tight area. It's always good to throw a stretch in for them if you can. Take a breath in, and then as we exhale, if possible, come forward a bit more just to increase that stretch out. Just a few more seconds. And then we're going to bring you back up to the top. And for your other stretches, just pick a comfortable seated position. All right, let's do a shoulder stretch. So sit tall, bring that across. We're going to do a big hug on the top of the arm or pull it across on the bottom of the arm. No elbow joint pressure. Hold that there. Then as you know, this is going to come across here. Open out a little bit here too. Sit nice and tall, keep that beautiful posture, and just taking it across, sitting quite square to the front. We're not going to turn too far into it with it, because this is going to give it the best stretch, and just hold it there. So yeah, your shoulders have worked quite hard. Same side comes up, tricep stretch. We're going to bend the elbow, bring the hand to the upper back. As always, we just want to sit as straight as we can. So if you've not got much space, you can bring your chin onto your chest to create some space, but don't slouch through. And then if it's already got a good stretch, that's fine. You hold it. If not, you give it a push. Or you can take it all the way across. Don't squeeze on the elbow. I've cut my elbow off, so you can't really see what I was doing. And then we're going to interlink your fingers and bring it down, of course, is your other option. That's not made much difference. But we're going to hold that here. Again, being as upright as we can. It's not the strongest stretch in the world, but we were using those muscles when we did your planking. But most of all, of course, when we were doing your rear deltoid squeeze. Okay, same two stretches on the other side. So we're going to bring that arm across, coming into the shoulder, and again, just pinning it in place with the supporting arm. Wherever on that arm, it helps you to get the best stretch. And then just taking it over. We're keeping the good posture because it's good to reinforce that all the time, every chance we get. Also, it can help you just make sure you maximize your stretch. So safe and effective, usual. And just bringing that over for a good shoulder stretch. On the same arm, bringing that up now. Okay, so again, little muscles here, not that strong. Good posture. And if we want to just create or need some space, we keep the rest of the spine straight. We just flex the neck to bring the chin to the chest. But if you want to try and increase the stretch, you can pull or you can bring it across. Remember, don't squeeze the elbow. Take it across, and I still probably can't see very well. Or you can interlink your fingers and pull that down behind you. Whichever one of those things gives you the best stretch ideally, but actually sometimes which one you can manage, because pulling the interlinking fingers behind you can be quite tricky, or you can get it one side and not the other, or it pulls you down, or all sorts of stuff. So work with what's going to give you a good stretch. And yeah, not the strongest of stretches, but. And then last of all, of course, we are going, not necessarily of course, but we are going to go in for your chest stretch. Okay, so whichever one of those arm positions gives you the best chest stretch. Sit comfortably, really tall. So you do need to be sitting really, really nice and upright for this one, because if we don't, we're slouching in and we're closing up what we're trying to focus on. And you know that we do get these muscles tight. We do use the bow posture all the time without thinking. So we need to keep this area open to try and maintain good posture. And whichever options we're using, we're pulling your shoulders back to open here, and we're pushing your chest forward just a little bit to open that. Right, so that's slightly out of neutral, but just through here to get these stretches. All right. Just a few more seconds, really drawing the shoulders back to open here, pushing the chest forward to open here. Do this stretch every day for me. All right, relax it back down. So for our final little stretch sequence, however you're seated, you need to be really lovely and upright in neutral, engaged through the tummy. And at the bottom, we're just going to relax your shoulders and your arms to start. Breath in, big scooping movement all the way up. Exhale, bring your fingertips down, rest them on the back of your head. Squeeze up your shoulders. Relax them right down. Elbows back. Push again. One last little chest stretch. And then extend your arms up. Place your palms together. We're going to bring your hands down. Stabilize your shoulders. And you are all finished. So whenever you are doing this class, I hope you kind of enjoyed it as much as we can. I doubt anyone enjoyed the seated leg lift, but there we go. So I will attempt now to get this uploaded. Wish me luck. See you soon. Oh, now I've got to work out how to turn it off. That is a very good point. I don't do this very often, and as you know how much I love technology.